Alright, so trailer number 2 for the upcoming movie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem has just dropped. A lot was shown, a lot went down, and today in this video we're going to go ahead and discuss it all. We'll go over every scene, talk about what's going on, what we saw, I'll give you my thoughts and opinions, and yeah, it should be super fun. But let's waste no time and go ahead and dive on into this thing. So the trailer starts off and we have the turtles jumping across rooftops. This part reminded me a lot of the 2007 film, by the way. I like the look here. The lighting is dark, which is just what we should get in Turtles movies. I like seeing them operate in the night like this, where there's a lot of shadows and stuff. It just feels cool. Then we hear the voice of Splinter, voiced by Jackie Chan for those who don't know, by the way. You hear him say, "Where have you been?" And this Splinter's talking to them in the present. But we jump back again to earlier, where we see the turtles continuing to jump from building to building, and then we see Raphael stab his sai into the side of a wall as he hangs there for a second with a smile on his face. Then it cuts over to even earlier, pretty much what kicked this all off. And it's Leo and his brothers, and they're all walking in the sewers, and he tells them, "We're just going out to run regular errands." Now, obviously, when they get up to the surface, their plans change. And this is likely due to the other three brothers wanting to go up there to have fun. Next, the trailer cuts over to the part that we saw in the first trailer, where they're cutting the watermelon with Leonardo's sword. So showing that they're now out there having fun and stuff. We then get thrown back to the present, where Splinter continues to talk to them. Leonardo tells Splinter that he's really sorry, but that the guys wanted to go get pizza, and that he tried to talk them out of it. This is when Raph, Donnie, and Mikey all yell at Leo, Mikey even saying, "You ratted us out." Although this causes Splinter to yell at Mikey, telling him not to use that word that way. Leo chimes in, telling Mikey it's 2023, and Mikey apologizes. A funny little moment here with the family all together. Worth pointing out though, that this version of the Turtles seems to call Splinter Dad. Sometimes you'll hear them call him Father or Master. It changes depending on which version of the Turtles you're watching. But yeah, this version, he's Dad. Then we get the Paramount logo, the Nick Movies logo, and we cut over to the sewers, and this looks like we go back to earlier when they were about to go up to the surface to run errands. We see the Turtles excited, goofing around as they make their way up. Seems like they found a way to pump Leonardo up somehow, and now he's excited along with them. As they walk through the sewers, we get a voiceover from Michelangelo saying, "Hey guys, if we weren't monsters that were shunned by society and we could do anything we wanted, what would you guys do?" Then it cuts over to a different part of the film where they're all in their bedroom, and the setup is pretty cool. Everyone's got their own little space. Mikey is hanging in like this capsule thing that sits above Raphael's bed. Leo's got this little nook that he's tucked away in the back wall, and then Donatello has a tent set up where he sleeps. But yeah, you hear Raphael say that he would like to go to high school. Leo says maybe get a girlfriend, to where Donatello comments not likely. Then we get this shot here from a point of view from under the sewers, looking up at all the lights in action going on up above on the surface. So yeah, at this point in the trailer, you can kind of put together that these versions of the Turtles feel left out. They have each other, but they know there's a whole world out there up above them, and they want to be a part of it. We then cut back over to them finally making it to the surface. They jump out of the sewers and are finally out and about. This is when we see the Turtles in what appears to be their first meeting with April. They seem to kick it off. They're all getting along. She says this is crazy, turtle mutant karate teens. And as she's saying this, we get these cool shots of the Turtles beating up some criminals. We even see that they might have recorded some of their activities, as we then see them rewatching footage of themselves getting a kick out of it. April says, "I want to know everything about you." And this is when Donatello chimes in, "Our dad is definitely not a giant rat," which was a pretty funny scene. We then get the Seth Rogen producer credit, and we hear a news report about police being baffled by a recent crime wave led by someone named Superfly. Now, if you've been a subscriber of the channel here and following along with all the news and stuff, you know that this appears to be the main villain of the film. Anyways, we see someone sticking C4 onto a bank truck. You can't really see who it is, but I assume it's somebody working for Superfly. Anyways, we see the doors of the bank truck blow off, and then we see the truck get lifted off the ground as the police watch, unable to follow it as it's being taken away. You can kind of make out Superfly's wings peeking over the top of the truck as he carries it away. We then cut over to April, who's talking to the Turtles, and this time they're in this room with this red lighting, standing in front of a board with a bunch of clues on it. You can't make out much other than this piece of paper in the center with the words, "Who is Superfly?" So it either looks like people are trying to figure out who he is, maybe he's got a secret identity, maybe. Or they just could be trying to figure out, who is he? Where did he come from? We'll see. Anyways, she says that no one has ever seen his face because he destroys anyone who does. We get another pretty funny moment here with the Turtles actually thinking that's pretty cool. April is unamused by this and says no, it's not cool, and Raphael tells her it's kind of cool, which was pretty funny. We then cut over to a scene of all 4 turtles jumping on some sewer pipes, striking a cool pose here. Then we see them standing under an open roof of sorts, looking up at something, but it's kind of hard to tell what they're looking at. Here we hear Donatello say, if we take out Superfly, everyone will accept us, talking about the humans. And we even see a little drawing here of what that would look like in the turtles' imaginations. We see them getting an award by the mayor, everyone's accepting them and is fans of them. It was kind of cute. There's even a little drawing that shows them showing up at a school and being accepted by all the students. So it does look like this ends up being their objective, to take down Superfly. Because next we cut over to Leonardo saying he's making a deal tonight, talking about Superfly, and that it's going to take place under the Brooklyn Bridge. And we see Leonardo and Michelangelo here at the bridge. We then see Superfly approaching in a muscle car. He's got it all decked out, and it looks like he is showing up here for some type of meeting. At this point in the trailer, it looks like the turtles got into some type of van, because now they appear to be close to this meeting location, watching from a distance from inside their van. Donatello's the driver, by the way. Superfly and his crew of mutants arrive, and this presence of other mutants appears to draw out the turtles, and they get out of their van and approach the group. Superfly, who's voiced by Ice Cube, by the way, for those who may not know, is amused at seeing the turtles. Poor Donatello here, he doesn't sense the threat yet, and he's just excited to see other mutants. He says, I can't believe there are other ones. Here we get a clear look at Slugbug, as well as Bebop and Rocksteady, and Leatherhead as well. Then things start getting a little serious as we hear Superfly tell the turtles that if they want to roll with him, they need to understand that humans are never going to like mutants, and that he and his crew are going to make sure the mutants rule the earth. Then it cuts to a quick scene of this giant monster mutant thing spewing green ooze from its mouth, but that goes by really quick, and then we go to Mondo Gecko saying that the people's got to go. In this shot, we see Raphael, Bebop, and Wingnut all alongside Mondo. We cut back over to the meeting with Superfly, and it's somewhere around this time that we also see a flashback of some of the mutants getting made. It looks like Bebop and Rocksteady, Mondo Gecko, and I believe Raphael there. Now, if you look in the background, you can see that someone is standing there, and I believe that someone is Baxter Stockman. You can kind of see his glasses through one of the tubes, and he looks like he's wearing a blue sweater with a white collared shirt popping out from underneath. So yeah, Superfly's talking during all of this, and it cuts back over to the turtles, and Mikey says, okay, sort of a twist. As I don't believe the turtles were expecting the first mutants that they'd run into ever to all be bad guys. But here we are. We briefly see Genghis Frog here, as well as he eats a fly off one of his own eyeballs, which was pretty funny. Then we get the date August 2nd, and we get a voiceover of Donatello saying, we can't stop him. And Leo says, we gotta try. And we get some other cool quick shots here. The turtles with all white eyes as they get serious, which looked great, by the way. Then we get what looks like will be a chase scene in the movie. The turtles seem to have something in their turtle van that they're transporting, and Superfly looks pissed that they have it and is chasing them. It looks like he eventually catches up to the turtles and rips off the back doors to their van. As he gets in, he says, 6 in the morning, police at my door. A famous lyric, which was pretty cool to hear coming from him. Mikey and Raphael freak out as Superfly busts in. Donatello and Leonardo are up front, trying to maintain control of the vehicle. We get a good look at the device here that Superfly is after. It looks like some type of ray gun or portal opener, something like that. Now, it does look like at one point they lose control of the van and it goes crashing off the side of a bridge. Superfly is then seen flying away as this happens with the device in hand, so it does look like he gets his hands on it. Now, I don't know if they were being chased by some humans at the same time all of this was going on, but it kind of seems like they were, as just after this, it looks like the turtles get out of their van that just fell off the bridge. You can see it there flipped over in the back, and they end up getting surrounded by some type of task force or something. I've seen people already begin to speculate, who could this be? Is it the Earth Protection Force? Could it be Agent Bishop? I'm not quite sure yet, but I did think a couple things were worth pointing out. When the task force approaches, they roll up in TCRI vans, which if you know that that's where the ooze comes from that mutated the turtles in previous versions of the TMNT. Now, we do see this main guy that's with the task force. It's possible that this could be Agent Bishop, or it could just be some general guy that's in charge of this whole group. We don't know yet. One thing I thought could be an interesting theory, though, is what if these guys are Utroms? We know in the old Turtles comics, when Splinter breaks into the TCRI facility, he finds out that the Utroms have been posing as humans for a long time. This very well could be happening here, and they did announce a character named Cynthia Utrom that we didn't see in this or the first trailer yet. I could see them doing some type of a swerve like that, where this big intimidating general guy is actually an android body for the Cynthia Utrom character. Again, it's just a theory, but if we look at their blasters here, they do look a little bit out of this world. We'll see what happens with all this. I thought it was worth mentioning. Anyways, the turtles get surrounded by the task force, and they're in rough shape. Mikey's eye eye looks all jacked up. Leo looks exhausted. It seems like things take a turn for the worse here. Although we get a voiceover from Splinter in a montage of the turtles readying their weapons. We hear Splinter say, "My son, Michelangelo, you have heart." And we see Mikey, who looks a bit sad, but then begins to smile. Then you hear Splinter say, "Donatello, you have wisdom." And we see Donnie jumping onto a moving car, jamming his bow staff into the steering wheel. Then we hear Raphael, "You have bravery," as he smashes two heads together. And then Leonardo, "Honor." And we see Leonardo putting on his headband. All this leading up to this cool shot here of the turtles coming through these double doors of what looks like could be some type of facility, a restaurant or a hospital, or maybe the TCRI labs. It then cuts over to one final scene, and this is back over in that garage workshop setting that we saw in the first trailer. And we can see that Raphael wants to get to fighting already. He says, "Enough talk. I dream about fighting every night." Donnie tells him he's got a rage problem. Raphael says it's not a problem. And this is where the trailer goes rapid fire, throwing a bunch of different things at us. We got this one scene here, which looks like a monster version of Superfly in the streets, kicking a gasoline tanker at the turtles. This shot looked pretty epic. We see that Mikey and Raphael jump out of the way as the tanker explodes. Then we have a quick scene of Donatello with a serious look on his face, shifting the turtle van into gear and driving wild until they hit a jump, and it zooms in on all of them inside of the cab. Although in this part it looks like they're having fun again, so it's probably from earlier on in the story before their van got wrecked. But yeah, then it cuts to the title card, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem, and we get a list of the cast again. But yeah, that's it. Trailer number 2 in the books. What did you think? People seem pretty pumped from what I've seen. I definitely think they got something going here. This could end up being a really cool film series. The way I think about it is, like, if they keep going with these turtles even after this movie, it's going to be cool to hear them grow up with the characters, kind of the way the Harry Potter kids did. It'll be cool to see that development. But yeah, that's it for this breakdown. Stay tuned, as I also got a new Turtles updates video that will be coming out sometime after this. Keep your eyes peeled for that. A lot of news stories to cover. Super exciting time as lots of information is coming out. But thanks once again for watching. That's it for this one. I will see you guys in a little bit with another video. Take care.